Hi everyone. Today we've got another expert guest in to talk about all things health and nutrition. Welcome, Leora.
Hi, Damon. I'm a nutritionist and a personal trainer. I'm based in Melbourne. My business, Well with Leora, is it is a fitness and nutrition business. But a lot of the work that I have moved into as the business has developed and grown has sort of moved more into coaching and working more with our relationship to food and movement, inside of that kind of coaching space.
What was it that initially sparked your interest in getting into the area for personal training, nutrition, as well as the coaching you're doing lately?
Well, the interest with fitness is from childhood. I grew up as a dancer. I was a ballerina until I was 19. And then moved into marathon training, endurance running, and eventually moved more into the gym. So on a practical level, it was my just my lifestyle really in terms of fitness, and then nutrition was through my own health journey really. So that came up inside of being in, I suppose, the dance industry through my teens, and a lot of the pressures and expectations and assumptions of that industry, which had me build a pretty, I suppose, confusing relationship to food and nutrition. And then it was really my own journey that brought me into kind of starting to research, learning more about nutrition, learning more about food, working with a nutritionist personally for my own health, and then taking that through into my area of study.
Wow. Yeah. So on the topic of nutrition, what would you say are some of the biggest myths when it comes to healthy eating?
The biggest myth with healthy eating is that there is a magic solution. I think that's the biggest myth, is that people come in like searching for, what am I supposed to be doing? What is the best diet? What is the number one solution? What is the answer? And the truth is that there isn't one. And that really it's very individual, and where that comes to is that the best solution is the solution for you. Yeah.
Do people get frustrated then when there's not that one specific answer that's exactly what they've always been looking for?
I think the initial response, yes, there's an element of frustration and an element of, oh, well, that can't be true, you're the wrong person. But I think what then happens with education and exploration is that there actually becomes a real sense of freedom in that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's even where a lot of healthcare is going these days, is that we're going away from those, like what science says is the right thing to do, to looking at what science says, but also matching that up with each person's individual lifestyle to make sure it's what's best for them.
Yeah.
So what about BMI then? Do you think that's an accurate way to measure if someone's healthy or not, or is there better ways to measure that?
Do you want my real opinion? I think BMI is a bit of an archaic, I think it's a bit outdated. I think there's a lot more research today around just how it's not necessarily the best measurement of health, indicator of health, because it is based on weight, and weight is, you might have an athlete who has very dense muscle tissue who is, very heavy, and actually on the BMI scale is then told that they're, in an alarming obese category. So I don't think it's the most accurate or even a relevant dictator of health in many situations. Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that is useful for people to use if they're wanting to know if they're healthy or not?
I think inherently we have a sense of where we're at. So I think if you were honest with yourself and you questioned, am I taking care of myself in a way, and am I at the healthiest place that I could be for myself, there's going to be an answer there. In terms of indicators, sure. I mean, illness is a great indicator of our level of health. So if you have things like ongoing allergies or recurrent pain, or some kind of condition that is occurring in your life, that's a pretty good flag, I suppose, or signal that something is not quite right.
Okay, so what about calories then? Is that something that you ever discuss with your clients, and is it helpful for people to track how many calories they eat?
Definitely something that comes up with almost every new client that I see, definitely. And I think that comes from, it's a society thing. There's a big conversation in the health industry. There's, especially in the fitness industry, there's a huge conversation definitely around calories in terms of weight management, energy in, energy out, this kind of, at a simplistic level, this tracking what you eat versus tracking what you burn, right? So it's definitely a conversation that comes up with my clients. It's not a way I work with nutrition. No, it's not something I subscribe to, because I think that, again, coming back to the individuality of people and what we require, when you come from a standpoint of becoming educated about what you're putting into your body, naturally that intuitive sense of eating is going to tell you how much food you need. And it's not going to be based on a number and working out, specific calories. No is the general answer.
When you were doing the endurance running, how many Ks would you run? Like, what was the longest race you did?
I've done 9 half marathons. Wow. There was always a plan to do a full, and then something always got in the way. And maybe one day I'll do a full. I don't know. I'm not doing any endurance training these days. But yeah, I enjoyed that distance. Half was a fun distance for me. Yeah.
I've done 3 half marathons as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, each time I did it, my body did not hold up very well. And that was mainly because I didn't do enough training.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to take on the full, just because I don't think it'd be healthy for me.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really important. I think having that's what I would call intuition with your own body. Absolutely. And listen to that. I think we know. And for me, I think what happened in the end of the training for me, I also had a lot of injuries. Actually, the very last half marathon, I ruptured my Achilles about 10 days before the half marathon, and I ran it anyway, which was, if I had a client that said to me now that that's what they did, I would be irate. But it was really that, I stopped listening to my body, and there was this disconnect of intuition, right? And so for you to see, actually, it wasn't the right distance for me, it's the same thing. Looking back now, going, that wasn't what I should have been doing at that point. Okay. And that's important to listen to. Yeah.
So the pain is there for a reason. Yep.
Yeah.
With exercise, how important do you think it is for energy and health and vitality then? We know it can be taken too far, but what about in moderation?
In moderation, I think it's unreal. I think exercise, so much of the research around exercise, of course, for physical well-being is extraordinary. But, one of the reasons I'm kind of hesitant sometimes when I say to people that I'm a personal trainer is because, yes, I work with fitness, and it is for physical fitness, right? But I think one of the things with exercise is that in terms of emotional strength, mental strength, and mental health, emotional health and wellness, exercise is unbeatable, right? Sunshine and exercise, I think, are the two, almost you're a for you working with people with mental health, it's, hesitant to say, medication and things like this, but I think if we bring movement into people's world, of course, at a physical basis, but the benefits, you could go on all day. I think it's an integral part of anybody's lifestyle. Yes.
Yeah, from an evolutionary basis, we're not meant to be inside all day, and we're not meant to be stagnant all day. I think John Medina, in his book Brain Rules, said that humans used to walk 12 to 15 Ks a day. And so I think our body and our brain do work best when we're exercising. And the other thing was, I think even just 3 times a week, half an hour was enough to be the same as an antidepressant for mild depression.
Yeah, extraordinary. And it's, that's accessible to anyone. It's free. It's, any time of the day or night. I kind of, when people say to me, oh, I don't exercise, I can't, it's like, huh? What do you mean?